I was Googling and YouTubing a little earlier, and some of the stuff that I'm into is martial arts. And when you type that crap in, what you get is mixed martial. You get a shitload of mixed martial arts stuff, and I get to looking at it, and it's interesting to me. These people have fascinating backgrounds. Uh, Shotokan, karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo. I mean, this shit. The list goes on and on. They got Thai boxing, kickboxing. I mean, it's just it's they are infinite amount of lists, and but of course, because it's mixed martial arts, somebody always has some Brazilian jiu-jitsu or the Gracie jiu-jitsu tied in with their stuff. But what I noticed though is that, and it kind of irritates me. What I noticed is that when I'm watching the MMA, these fucking people, they got all this background and they don't. I see very little of it. I mean, it's a lot of straight punching and straight kicking, and that's not. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's what we see. And when I think of mixed martial arts, I think of Bruce Lee. You know, I think of Enter the Dragon. You know, but really, it's not what it is. You get on there and it's a bunch of guys brawling, throwing straight punches. And don't get me wrong, I probably couldn't whip any one of them. I'm out of shape, But I think if they just realized and concentrated and honed their fundamentals, then it would take a full circle back to the way it should be, back to the basics, and that is a handful of fundamental techniques, and that's all you need. Be it grappling, be it punching, be it kicking, and that's really what I don't get. I really don't get that. Again, like I said, there's just a shitload of background, and you figure it would be a whirlwind of excitement. And I'm just looking at some guys doing some old school throwdowns, some ass whippings. Got a couple of good techniques here and there, but for the most part, it's just guys kicking each other's asses. So that being said, I just want to show you something real quick. Here we have a blank paper. It's black paper, got a few crowns, and I'll show you here in a second what it's going to look like, but I'm not going to record myself trying to draw it. But the point is that when you have your fundamentals, that's really all you need. You can do a lot with just those fundamentals. You don't necessarily need to do anything spectacular. As a matter of fact, with those fundamentals, it's kind of like learning the ABCs. You learn your ABCs, and you can spell. You learn the sounds. You can make sounds. But the idea is to take those ABCs and start making words. And once you make words, then you can make sentences, and then sentences you can make from the sentences you can make paragraphs. From the paragraphs you make essays into from the essays you can make volumes and books and things of that nature. But the point is that it doesn't require any great effort, just a few simple techniques, and everything works itself out. But it's when people get caught up in the unnecessary that you stop realizing how much you have with the basic necessities. So I mean, I'm just a proponent for fundamentals, and that's what I preach. It's what I teach. It's what I am. I'm a basic guy. Someone might say simple, but simple is a little bit different because I'm fucking complicated as hell. So anyways, enough with all of that. I just wanted to share with you the same thing that I was talking about a second ago. Was one circle, a rudimentary rectangle on the outside of a rudimentary square, and you have a moon type of thing. Anyways, that was all. I'll show you on the end of this. I'm gonna add some simple techniques. They're more crisp when I do them, just because it's not a fighting situation and it's real. It's a little more formal, I guess. But just basically watch your MMA fights. This is basically what they're doing. Okay. Before I show y'all the techniques that these MMA fighters do, I wanted to share with you a story about my son Jonathan. He was about 6 or 7 at the time, and I was training him for about a week. I taught him for about a week, and my uncle wanted him to come and spar. There was another child about his same age, and he was, we believe, at least I believe, that sparring or fighting in a controlled environment is a prerequisite to being a good fighter. So I obliged him. I said, yeah, sure, we'll take him. So we took him over there, and one of Jonathan's concerns was not knowing very much. I mean, after seeing this other child, his orange belt, and he's doing roundhouses and turn kicks and jump kicks, and he knows his blocks, and he knows his combinations and all this stuff, and he's sparring other children, and he's doing well. So Jonathan was concerned, and I explained to Jonathan, I said, don't worry about anything. If you get hit, you get hit. That's part of playing rough. If you get hit, that's fine. Just make sure you do the techniques that I taught you. And those were punch straight and kick straight. Regardless of what happens, punch straight and kick straight. And Jonathan went in there, and just like I told him, he made me real proud. Just like I told him, he punched straight and he kicked straight, and he dominated there. I mean, nobody held a candle against him. I mean, he just completely dominated the scene. As a matter of fact, not to sound violent or anything, but he actually, not that I condone this behavior, but he actually made some of the kids cry, just because the technique that he was using was far superior than the technique was far superior, or his mindset was far superior than the form or the technique that the other children were using. They had a lot of skill, but I believe they didn't know how to apply it, whereas Jonathan had very little skill, and he knew how to apply every single tool. So I guess my point is the fundamentals are key, and that's of course what I said before. Okay, these are the techniques that I showed Jonathan. It was basically, fighting stance, and everybody has their own little fighting stance. Some people want to do this shit. It's basically a fighting stance, and you punch straight, right? And when you're punching straight, they're going to be coming at you. They're going to be throwing these hooks and everything. You'll be throwing all these kicks and everything. Just punch straight. Boom, 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 boom. You keep doing it. Throw bunches of punches. Throw 2 punches, 2 kicks. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's it. All you got to do. Every time you're going to come in, don't do anything else but throw 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2 punch, 1, 2 kick. That's it. From the side, 1, 2 punch, 1, 2 kick. Slow it down. Not that it's very fast, but slow it down. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's all there is to it. We'll do it on the opposite side. 1, 2, 1, 2. Simple as that. You don't need a whole lot. That's all you gotta do. They're gonna come in, they're gonna do all this shit. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's all you have to do. 1, 2, 1, 2. Coffee, coffee. Mm-mm. 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 Coffee, 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 coffee.